Hello and welcome to Lore Lodge by Juti Mysteries, Enigmatic Answers. Beyond Miracles. In this episode, we will take you on a journey through a tale titled, A Night in an Old House and That Mysterious Oily Pillar. On a peaceful holiday morning in a rural village of a certain province, cool breezes swept across rice fields and lush forests, carrying the sound of flowing canals to the ear. The atmosphere of Lao song culture still enveloped the community, with the sounds of weaving and the essence of long-preserved traditions. NOP and his friends from Bangkok arrived to stay at a new homestay in the village, unaware they were stepping into a realm of ancient beliefs. Their accommodation was a traditional high-stilted wooden house, modernized for comfort but seamlessly retaining its historical charm. On their first night, NOP encountered an experience beyond expectation, as dreams and reality began to blur. Amidst the darkness and silence of the old wooden house, he encountered the phenomenon known as the weeping pillar, an ancient belief embedded in the villagers' way of life. As the night passed, many questions arose in the minds of NOP and his friends. Why did some pillars exude oil? Why weren't they adorned with tricolored cloth as seen elsewhere? Whose footsteps were heard in the dead of night? These mysteries invited contemplation on the connection between the visible and invisible worlds. This tale will take readers on an exciting and thought-provoking journey, experiencing the changing atmosphere of a rural village, learning about the weeping pillar belief, exploring scientific explanations for this phenomenon, and considering Buddhist perspectives on dreams and facing fear. Prepare yourself, for you're about to encounter a tale that will make you question the unseen and may change how you view the world around you. Several years ago, during an extended holiday period, NOP invited his friends to visit his hometown in a certain province. For personal reasons, he couldn't host his friends at his own home. This led NOP to invite another friend who worked in a nearby area to join them, hoping this friend could help manage their accommodation and guide them around the province. The homestay that NOP's friend recommended had just opened. It was owned by a foreigner and located in a rural village in that province. The village preserved the Lao song culture, maintaining traditional customs including their famous weaving. The village's location near a canal attracted a foreign investor with a Thai wife. He approached the village headman, expressing interest in the villagers' way of life and their strong preservation of local traditions and customs. The foreigner then invested in renting old houses by the canal, converting them into homestays with a resort-like atmosphere. Initially, Mr. P, the foreigner, told the village headman, "I'll create jobs for the villagers too. I'll hire 2 housekeepers to work with Kunchi for now. I'm investing in turning the house into a homestay." Mr. P rented a traditional high-stilted wooden house, redesigning it into a homestay resort hybrid. He particularly modernized the bathroom, moving it inside the house and equipping it with modern fixtures while maintaining harmony with the wooden structure. He even converted the rice barn into additional accommodation, adding modern bathrooms there as well. "I'll provide funds to the headman. Kunchi will live here and oversee how to modernize while preserving the old charm," said Mr. P, who spoke fluent Thai and communicated easily with the village headman. Kunchi, a foreign friend of Mr. P, not his Thai wife, came to manage the homestay operation. After securing the first house and 2 converted rice barns, Mr. P expanded, renting 3 to 4 more houses in the same area. Villagers, seeing how the old houses were modernized while retaining their unique character, became interested in renting out their canal-side homes. "It's your house, let the foreigner rent it. They'll leave eventually," one auntie persuaded her neighbor. The economic opportunity seemed to outweigh sentimental attachment to the houses for many villagers. Eventually, the last reluctant homeowner agreed to rent, with the condition that some old belongings remain in the house. Kunchi agreed to this arrangement. Before NOP and his friends arrived, a group of 8 elderly foreign tourists had booked stays and tours. This created job opportunities for villagers in housekeeping and cooking. As the villagers prepared a house for NOP and his friends, NOP's friend took them to visit the elderly foreign tourists staying in other houses. Some friends chatted with foreigners teaching local children to draw, while others observed foreign men gardening with villagers. It somewhat resembled a retirement home for foreigners. "The house is ready, sir. I'll be leaving now," the cleaning lady informed NOP and his friends. NOP's close friend thanked her and walked her to Kunchi's house to sign in for the day's work. "Why is she leaving so early?" NOP asked curiously. "Probably end of her shift. It's almost 5 p.m., and there's nothing left to do." "She just prepared our beds," another friend replied, engrossed in the pleasant atmosphere of the place. Soon after, NOP gathered his friends to go to their prepared house. His close friend mentioned it was a large house whose original owner was concerned about it and had left some belongings inside. Look at this old photo in the cabinet. It's very old but fits the house perfectly, one friend called others to see. The cabinet was old but classic, suiting the house well. Does someone live here? There are personal belongings, someone asked. I heard the owner's children live in Bangkok, so they left these things here. That's why their mother rented out the house, NOP's close friend explained neutrally. NOP's friends excitedly explored the house, enjoying the warm feeling of the wooden structure. The riverside location and rural Thai atmosphere was a refreshing change from their busy Bangkok lives. Have you ever slept here before? Moat asked NOP's close friend. Never, but I've slept in the rice barn at Kun Chi's house, NOP's close friend replied. They turned the rice barn into accommodation? Aren't you afraid of encountering something? Pud, one of the girls, asked curiously. What would we encounter? It's an old and used barn, NOP said. I'm just asking. Ancient people believed that rice barns housed the rice goddess. Is it right to sleep or put a bathroom there? Pud mused. It's fine, people sleep there without issues, NOP brushed it off. But he was actually worried and quite fearful, almost paranoid about ghosts. Is this pillar called a weeping pillar? Crit, NOP's friend, suddenly asked. There's a weeping pillar? NOP turned around startled at the mention. What? You're scared before even seeing anything, Crit laughed. If it's a weeping pillar, it's haunted, NOP exclaimed fearfully. NOP's close friend went to look. Moat pointed to a pillar, saying it seemed to have oil seeping out. Let's prank NOP, Moat suggested. There's nothing really, Crit objected. Of course not, but let's tease him anyway, Moat said jokingly. It's probably not a weeping pillar. If it was, it would have a tri-colored cloth tied around it, Pud told Moat. NOP, who had joined them later, felt relieved hearing this. You guys are rubbing oil on the pillar to trick me, aren't you? NOP started to get angry, thinking his friends were pranking him. His friends exchanged looks and decided to play along. No way, the oil is seeping out by itself. I don't believe you, NOP thought he wasn't falling for it. He had noticed that this pillar didn't have the tri-colored cloth and gold leaf like the weeping pillars he had seen before. Hey, weeping pillars are usually in the center of the house. This one isn't in the center, so it can't be one, Pud said, based on what she knew. You guys are terrible. You know I'm scared and you still tease me, NOP was still upset, thinking he was being pranked. But as the atmosphere grew darker and quieter, NOP's friends decided to move and sleep together in the larger room. They chatted until they fell asleep. Sir, how did you come to sleep in this room? A woman's voice woke NOP up. In his groggy state, he saw a young woman in traditional Thai dress. Immediately, NOP jumped out of his mosquito net and ran down from the house, even though the surroundings were dark with only faint moonlight. NOP forgot about his friends completely. His instinct told him that this wasn't an ordinary woman. How could a woman enter their room, and in traditional Thai dress no less? Sir, wait. The woman's voice called after him. Go away. Don't follow me. I'm scared. NOP kept running without thinking, ducking under one house to another. Help! Help! NOP ran and shouted. When he looked back, he could still see the woman behind him, seemingly floating at a distance. Stop, let's talk, a cold voice echoed in NOP's ears, but he didn't stop. Fear made him run and run. NOP found himself panting and sweating at the stairs of a house with a small light on. He intended to ask for help, having lost his senses and forgotten about his friends when he ran from the house. Come up, let's sit and talk, an old woman's voice invited NOP. As NOP's foot touched the front porch, he suddenly realized that the old woman addressing him was sitting by the house pillar, just before entering the room where he had slept earlier in the evening. It was the same house. He had run in a circle back to the original house. NOP's hair stood on end. He jumped down to the ground and started running again. He could still hear the voice calling from behind. Where are you running to? Come back. NOP ran until he was exhausted. His surroundings were no longer houses but an open rice field with faint light. Then the sound of a rooster crowing startled NOP awake. Did NOP sleep well? His close friend, who was putting away the mosquito net, asked NOP when he saw him awake. NOP was lying in sweat. He turned to look around and found that everyone else was gone. Where did everyone go? They went to take photos of the sunrise. Why didn't anyone wake me? NOP grumbled. The morning air was nice, but NOP was sweating as if he had been running all night. Well, they saw you sleeping soundly, so they didn't want to disturb you. I had a nightmare. I was running from ghosts all night, he said. You dreamed you were running from ghosts, but I saw you getting up, going in and out of the mosquito net, going to the bathroom all night. Oh no, I didn't go out. Who would go to the bathroom? It wasn't me, NOP denied firmly. Sweat was still dripping, his heart still racing, but it started to slow down as he realized his friend was there. Well, I saw you. You went to the bathroom, came back under the net, and then climbed over friends to sleep in the middle. I didn't get up at all, he insisted. If you didn't get up, who did? NOP fell silent. He looked at his close friend and said nothing. Looking around the room, he noticed pillars similar to the one at the front of the room, with oil seeping out but no tricolored cloth. In the morning, after NOP's friends returned from photographing the sunrise, they all went to have coffee at Conchi's house and talked about the previous night. Pud, did you hear anything? I only heard someone walking, but I didn't see anyone get up. No one from our mosquito net got up, right? NOP asked his friends who slept together. Right, no one got up. We didn't go anywhere, Moat answered. Tell me honestly, does that house have weeping pillars? NOP asked his close friend. Yes, 2 of them, his close friend admitted readily. Then why don't they have colored cloths tied to them? Do you think any foreigner would allow cloths to be tied to their house pillars? That's true, but old things belonging to the house owner are still there. Yeah, things of the dead. The house owner is superstitious. The village headman told Conchi, so they allowed those things to remain. And you didn't tell me clearly, NOP complained to his close friend. By now, he had come to terms with his dream but refused to go back to that house. He asked his friends to pack his bag for him while he waited at Conchi's house. If I had told you clearly, no one would have slept there, his close friend replied with a smile. We didn't pay respects to them either, Pud said. Right, we didn't. If the weeping pillar has a spirit residing there, it's like the house owner. It's good they didn't do anything to us, Crit remarked, not too concerned. What could they do? We all have Buddha amulets around our necks, Moat laughed and said jokingly. After that, NOP and his close friend left the village to continue their trip. But in NOP's heart, he never forgot about that weeping pillar, even though many years had passed. The conclusion. In terms of beliefs, we believe that a weeping pillar is a pillar inhabited by a tree spirit. This spirit could be one that came with the original tree, or one that took the opportunity to possess the wooden pillar later. Those that came with the original tree are called tree spirits and are given symbolic names. Some are named by spirit mediums who communicate with them. If it's a Tachyon tree, it's commonly called Nong Tachyon, Lady Tachyon. Even those that come later are wandering spirits, pretas, and if they inhabit a dead Tachyon tree, they're also called Nong Tachyon. However, these are all considered pretas, not born from the tree or having a celestial mansion in the tree. In ancient times, when cutting trees, people would pray before felling. They would use an axe with a loose handle that could be easily removed. After asking permission, they would strike the tree, leaving the axe head embedded, and remove the handle for one night. The next day, if the axe was still in the tree, they would fell it immediately. If the axe had fallen, they would try again. If it fell again the next day, they wouldn't cut the tree. Some, desperate for the wood, would try up to 3 times. If the axe still fell, they wouldn't cut, believing the tree's owner, be it a tree deity or spirit, didn't permit it. Forcing the issue could bring misfortune to oneself and family. Some trees were so powerful that just striking them could cause immediate harm. Most trees that resist cutting are believed to house tree deities. For tree spirits that remain after felling, it's a case of the cutter having strong fate, or the tree spirit not having enough power. This allows the spirit to continue residing in the wood even after cutting, following it until it becomes a pillar. However, scientifically, the phenomenon of weeping pillars or wood exuding oil doesn't occur in all types of wood. It's characteristic of certain species like golden tachyon, green bamboo, shorea, Dipterocarpus, or other trees in the Dipterocarpaceae family. These trees have resin ducts. When used in conditions exposed to heat, sometimes the resin in these ducts melts and seeps out, appearing like oil. In reality, it's just resin seepage, a natural characteristic of certain wood types. As the writer, a close friend of NOP, knowing that NOP dreamed of running from ghosts all night and encountering two tree spirits from two pillars, both weeping pillars though not tachyon wood, created a terrifying experience for NOP. Perhaps NOP's own mind created this dream, possibly a type of karma-induced dream. Such dreams are caused by the power of good or bad karma accumulated in the mind. When sleeping, if the dream is due to good karma, one dreams of obtaining something good. If due to bad karma, one dreams of suffering some punishment. Like NOP running from ghosts, born from his own fear, it's NOP's subconscious not willing to face the root of the problem. Perhaps these spirits just wanted NOP to make merit for them. When NOP doesn't face the cause of his fear, he keeps running endlessly, like running in circles back to the same house he fled from, encountering the same problem again. Therefore, in Buddhism, we're taught to consider the cause of problems to solve and liberate ourselves from them. This is a form of insight meditation that doesn't require sitting with closed eyes, focusing on breath. In science, many things encountered are called coincidences. In superstition, these coincidences are called miracles. But in Buddhism, there are no coincidences, only karma coming from ourselves. In the end, our tale of a night in an old house and that mysterious oily pillar has come to a close. What do you all think about it, friends? The rest of the closing statement can remain the same. This phrasing adds a nice literary touch to your conclusion, making it sound more formal and story-like. It's an excellent way to signal to your audience that the narrative has concluded and you're now moving to the interactive and promotional part of your content.